let's transition to the most disappointing team of the night. Because, uh, I mean, I wish I had some highlights here ready to play. There was one instant when James Harden crossed the dude up so bad. It was mean, man. Dude slid across the floor. Who was that? Who was that defending, man? I never could make that out. Was that smart? I hope that was smart.
It was a bit of a flop.
Okay. So if you said flop, that's probably smart then. So okay, then Harden shimmies, and yo, listen. The first time I saw the highlight, I was like, he made the shot, but I had to look closely. He did not make that shot. He banked it off the backboard, man. But it was like one of those clean ones. It's like if you're not really paying attention, it looks like it went in, but it did not at all. It missed the whole net. And then you got plays from the Lakers where it's like, just why? But man, out of the Sixers and the Lakers, what was most disappointing to you out of those teams?
I'm not really disappointed in the Sixers as much as the Lakers, but I also didn't expect very much from the Lakers. Okay. But with that being said, I'm going to choose the Lakers in this instance because organizationally, the team, how it's built, and just the inability to get it right as a team on either end of the floor is just a lot, and it's going to be a huge talking point for this entire season that they are not looking good, to say the least. And honestly, like I said, I expected them to not be good, but it's kind of disappointing when you have a team with LeBron James, who is going to be passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in total points this year. Anthony Davis, who is, when healthy, a top 5, top 10 player in the league. They look just dysfunctional. And it's not because of the players themselves. I think it's just fit and how the team is constructed. Even LeBron himself, after the game, made a comparison. And I don't quite understand it, but I think I get what he's trying to say about how you don't have a lot of shooters on the team. You don't have a lot of lasers, he said. So they're getting good looks, but they can't really make them. And honestly, it looks very clunky again, as it did past season. But the funniest thing about that to me was how NBA Twitter, basketball Twitter, whatever you want to call it, they went in on the Lakers. I scrolled through my phone on Twitter this morning, and literally the memes, like, they had Lakers eliminated from playoffs, teams ready to go. They had just so many memes just on hand. I'm like, y'all already had 17 memes lined up for the Lakers, and they lost one game. And it's like the Lakers, like, even one of the news sources was like the Lakers are 0-1. Like, I don't know, like the way I saw it and read it, or like how it was like portrayed, was like they've lost the entire season. Like people are like already on edge or like on their case because they lost this first game. They're like treating it like they're 0-82, and I'm like, I don't expect them to be great, but dang, it's just one game. We know that they aren't good. As of right now, they haven't figured it out, but it's still just one game, guys. Like, people are like the Lakers fall to 0-1. I'm like, Someone has to fall on the first day. Like, it's not like they have a choice. They're
Yeah.
going to fall to a game. Like, I think someone's going to lose, guys. But they were like, the Lakers fall to 0-1. I'm like, they just lost the first game. It's not playoffs. It's not mid-season. It's not even like a weekend. It's not. But anyway, that's my. I'm trying to I'm trying to be gracious because I'm like I don't think you or I expect just a great season from the Lakers, but I'm trying to give them a little bit of slack here. Like, dang guys, like this is the first game. Maybe they can figure something out. But hey, Laker Nation is not having it.
I mean, part of it is because it's the Lakers.
Yeah.
Part two is because you got LeBron James. He brings a certain level of haters, and the Lakers' organization brings haters. And three, you got Russell Westbrook too, who's also very polarizing as a player. You got all that ready to go. And of course, the Twitter streets were ready to fire off. That's part of it. That's I normally on podcasts and shows and stuff like that, you try to give different perspectives and stuff. But I could go on about how it's disappointing to see the offense in Philly going around James Harden more so than Joel Embiid. I could go on about that, and how about I need to see Joel Embiid in the paint more. I need to see more facilitation from Harden. It's cool that you got your shot back. You got some good highlights in, but that's not enough to beat some of these juggernauts in the East. I could go on about that, but I can't do it. These Lakers, they are just man. All right, so AD had an amazing start, man. I was very impressed with AD's start. He was all over the place on defense. One of the first plays to initiate was AD inside. I was like, yes, good. It's like they're playing 4 out, 1 in. That's great. The only issue with that is the 4 people out, they're not a threat. So it's like you try to do your best to match the scheme, but okay, 4 out, but I got Pat Bev, Russell Westbrook, Lonnie Walker, and LeBron James. The only threat really out from outside there is LeBron James. What does that make? I mean, that I don't get it. You gotta match scheme to personnel. Pat Beverly had a green light last night. Who gave him the green light? I have no clue. But he was jacking shots. I mean, at least Russell was hesitant. You know what I'm saying? But Russ had like one of the best percentages for most of the night from 3. Like, yeah, he made 1, but at least it's like 1 for 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had. I mean, the big 3 didn't really play terrible. By the way, they had good stats. Russ played a good game overall. I think a lot of people agreed. I was looking through Twitter. I was trying to see if anybody was going to hate on Russ because he did not have a bad game. I mean, yeah, the turnovers are an issue just like for all of them. Turnovers is an issue for the whole team. Like some really bad timely turnovers for everybody, including LeBron and AD. There's some bad turnovers. But overall, decent play. It's just everything else. The bench points were terrible. You're not getting contribution from anyone else. That just shows you how this roster. I'm sorry, the roster is trash. This is a trash roster. It's like, what other veteran players do you have? Like, okay, you got Patrick Beverly. Okay, that's fine to have as a veteran presence. And Toscano Anderson, I mean, and shout out to him for being a champion as well. But I just wish they had other veterans that can at least give you potential for shooting, like Melo. I feel more confident in Melo's back on the team with Darvin Ham. and someone like not exactly Lou Will, but a Lou Will type that you know can get you buckets when you need to. Just going out to find those veteran players or people or young players you can put on the minimum. Like, I wish they kept Malik Monk, you know. I wish they kept some of these other young talent that I knew that they could at least be kind of a threat, more so than what you put on the floor. But part of it too is they're trying to transition to a more defensive-minded scheme, and I was impressed with the defense last night. I was, to a certain degree, until the third quarter, of course. But defensively, it was very impressive. I saw some signs from the Lakers like, okay, this could be looking good. But the reason I'm picking them was because I did not realize the lack of depth they really had on that team.
Yeah.
I mean, the other reliable person off the bench is now Austin Reeves. I mean, before you had at least Horton Tucker and Reeves, and I mean this roster is worse than last year, in my opinion. If you think about it, because it's one thing to have veteran presence because they've been there before and they know how to do it, but it's another thing if just young talent and that are inexperienced. But I mean, to me, I can argue that this roster this year is worse. And shame on Rob Pelinka. Because it's his fault. And that's all I got to say, though. But the Big Three played fine. It's just crazy. But out of those two teams, I'm picking the Lakers, too. I can't.
Yeah. It's too much to ignore with the Lakers. And obviously, I think their roster is going to provide troubles for most of the season until they shake things up. I don't think we're in a point in time where LeBron can carry a team the way he did 5-6 years ago.
No, the NBA is better since then. I don't think people realize that.
Yeah,
there's a lot more parity in the league now. You can't just beat up on teams anymore.
Yeah,
like literally anyone can win because everyone's capable of shooting. Like all teams that have capable shooters for the most part. If you have shooting, you can come back from any deficit. I don't care. The Warriors taught us that. I mean, like, that's how it is. But man, but the only way the Lakers can counter is if they just really lock in defensively and just be a defensive first team, really. But that's a big, tough ask in this NBA. You know, if this was like 80s, 90s, this probably be a favorite team to win something maybe. But like today's NBA, we can't really hand check. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they will have to be better. They'll have to make their mark on defense, just like honestly like they did in 2020.
Yeah, but at least they had capable scorers and I don't know. I mean, like I'm just not confident in this team. Unless someone breaks out, maybe Scott Pippen Jr. will break out and be like that dude. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not saying that if they play defense well, they're gonna be like champions or even the playoffs. I mean, if they want to have any inkling of success, they have to do it defensively. And even then, they're not going to be champions by any means. But the roster itself is just the issue. I'll say 70% of their problems are roster because I think somebody else said it. Like they have the same team as last year, but they just swapped around a few names. And you don't have shooters. You don't really have. I think Thomas Bryant is out because he had to have surgery.
Yeah,
so outside of AD, there's no big man that really just comes to my mind. You got some young guys and like Gabriel. I think he's a forward, but
yeah, he gives you energy, but he made some.
they would have been better off if they would have kept Dwight Howard, kept Melo, and tried to build shooters into the team.
That's all you needed.
But honestly, I'm still. This is early to say, but I'm waiting on the moment they try to blame everything on Russ again. And I think another thing, I'm gonna say this real quick before we move on. Kevin Durant said this on the boardroom the other day about Russ. He's playing under a microscope in one of the most media-heavy cities, and he's also a polarizing player. He's different, right? And KD just spoke about like how regardless of if he's shooting well or he's making threes or making layups, making plays, the moment he misses a layup, that's it. He's a scapegoat. And it's like that's true because there's so much attention on him already from even with this past video with I think it was like preseason. He did his regular routine, but somebody cut the video a certain way that it looked like he was not joining the team, but he's been doing that forever. And I'm sure you know that because you've been a fan for years. So I think this is going to be an ongoing thing until like, all right, the media is going to probably push narrative, push the Lakers to make a move. And then maybe something else like but we'll see.
Yeah, there was a story that popped up today though about like sorry to interrupt, but like they said that is the Lakers are not looking to push any trades until after I think it was like Thanksgiving. That's what it said. I believe that's what it said. I'm gonna check. I'm back check to make sure. But apparently, they're gonna stop looking at trades right now and wait. Yeah, the Lakers are not rushing trades yet after Thanksgiving. Yeah. So, I mean, even that's not. I don't know. I mean. NBA Twitter was really there are a lot more people standing up for Russ yesterday too, even when in the commentators like Reggie Miller, Charles Barkley, you know. So I believe the narrative can shift that just certain people in the media that are not going to let that happen though. And those media people know who they are.
I agree.
I mean, they know who they are. I mean, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Because I can't stand watching that show sometimes when they get into that stuff. But I don't even want to say their name to get a clout. Not that we have that type of clout yet, but still, I don't even want to. But, man. So yeah,
that's right. We don't buy into the hype on Swish Masters. We keep it.
Yeah, try to be objective and yeah. Russ had that one air ball, right? But that's coming off a play that it was already chaotic. One, but people cutting it up like it's like, oh, here, it's like, man. I mean, Russ is Russ. He takes questionable shots sometimes. That's him. But it's like he does more positives most of the time. Last season with standing. He had decent numbers. I mean, like, I don't know, man. It's like...
That's what I was about to say.
He had 18, 7, 7. Like that's not bad. That's you typically for
that's hard to
be
for an average NBA player.
Exactly.
Like to average 18, 7, and 7. He's 3 assists, 3 rebounds shy of a triple double again. So even though he had a down year, it was more so of a mentally down year for him because I'm sure he was just stressed. But still, that's highly productive. If you put that on a team that fits, or if the Lakers had a team that around him that fits, they would have been way more successful.
Right.
So
That's how I was just like so disappointed with the shooting. I'm like, when we see Russ, because they staggered the minutes to Russ was playing with AD and some other players. I'm like, these other players are just not knocking down shots. It's like that's what's disappointing. In the limited spacing. And,
yeah.
I don't know, we'll see. But I trust in Darvin Ham so far. I did like some of the looks that he did. I like they do look better defensively already compared to last season. And gosh, I like how AD came out. Just to continue that for a full. But at the same time, players are getting conditioned. So it's like opening night games don't really mean a whole lot. Honestly. It just gives you a glimpse into what potentially could be there. So, and potentially the Lakers could be a good defensive team. Potentially AD can have an MVP caliber season. And of course LeBron is going to top that scoring record. For sure. Oh.